நேரலே நான் உங்களை அனுஷாந்தி பேசுகின்றேன். நீங்கள் பார்த்துக்கொண்டு இருப்பது மற்றும் ஒரு TT on the go. இன்றைக்கு நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கள் என்றால் Canadian Tamil Chamber of Commerceன் Women in Power நிகழ்ச்சியில் கலந்து கொள்கின்றோம். Internationally நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கள் என்றால் மார்ச் மாதம் we are recognizing women on an international note. ஒவ்வொரு கண்ட்ரிலையும் பார்த்தீங்கள் என்றால் we are recognizing women politically, educationally who hold power in certain positions. இன்றைக்கு நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கள் என்றால் CTCC is taking the initiative to recognize women right here in Toronto who are holding positions both politically, financially, in different sectors and different industries as well. So we're going to go on in and check out the event. We hope you enjoy. So now we have with us Mr. Ajit Sabaratnam, who is the president of CTCC. Thank you so much for joining with us today. So I definitely have to ask you, you are the backbone behind all of this, and with internationally everyone recognizing women in the month of March, why do you think it's important to recognize women?
In our community, the women were there, they were successful, but they were very hesitant to come out and get engaged. Now, if you were listening to the guest speaker, she said, participate. There are two ways you can do, and getting engaging. So she said you should get engaged with the community. That way, there will be more recognition. So when we started this is our second year doing Women in Power. Last year when we started, I took over as a president. Shalini was the instrumental on bringing this women thing. So I was wondering, how are we going to do this? Then I thought, okay, if you're going to take charge, I will leave everything to you. We as a men and the board, we won't interfere. We won't interfere in your, whatever the thing. I left it and it was a very successful event. We had that happen here. So now, this year, but last year what happened was there were more men than women. But there were women came, but there were more men. But this time I told we need more women, but men can come, but we need a more women participation, especially when they are in the sales oriental or in the business sector. So when I look at the room today, I think there are more than 240 people. This event is sold out. People were calling, but we couldn't accommodate because of the size of the room. But I am very thrilled and happy.
So now we have with us Priya, Shalini and Tanusha, who are part of CTCC. So I definitely have to ask you, Shalini, what made you start this initiative to begin this show called Women in Power?
Women in Power, the reason why we started it last year was United Nations obligation. Canada is also part of the United Nations. United Nations in Korike Women's International Women's Day under they want to bring women's affairs to the forefront. They want to change the way women are in society. So UN women are not 50-50 with men. I mean, what's wrong with it? We are man and woman is the same, right? Equal. ஆனாலும் வேலை வாய்ப்பு திட்டங்களிலும் கல்லூரிகளிலும் படிப்பிலையும் எந்த விதத்திலையும் 50-50 சான்ஸ் விமனுக்கு எந்த விதத்திலையோ there's a தடை to that, like there's a block to it. So அந்த issues we want to discuss as a community. எங்கட தமிழ் community அத ஒரு issue address பண்ணணும். ஏனென்றா தமிழ் பெண்கள் எத்தனையோ துறைகளிலும் எத்தனையோ சமுதாய நிகழ்ச்சிகளிலும் அவைதான் முன்னுக்கு நிற்கினம். ஆனா அவேண்ட நலனை யார் பார்ப்பது? We have to consider that. So Women in Power is about giving power, giving voices to women. No matter what they do, we want women to come up, and gender shouldn't be a barrier. அதை ஒரு நோக்கமா வெச்சுக்கொண்டு தான் CTCC இந்த ஈவென்ட்டை செய்யுது.
It is amazing to see புலம்பெயர்ந்த நாட்டில் women-க்குண்டே நீங்கள் ஒரு நிகழ்ச்சி எடுத்து அவைகளுக்கு இருக்கிற problems, the blocks like you had addressed, to recognize it and to give them solutions and to give them a stage to recognize them. It is definitely amazing to say, and thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you. So now we have with us Moon Mahalingam, who is the Vice President of Finances with CTCC. So I have to definitely say it's amazing for you guys to take this initiative to recognize women in Toronto and women in power. Now, why do you think it's important that we take this night today to recognize women?
Actually, it's our second event. When we had this event last time, this is the first event in the Tamil community, I would say, we recognize a woman in power. That means women who's did good for themselves, become lawyers, doctors, and we just want to recognize being a part of the Tamil Chamber of Commerce. We have a lot of women members in our chamber. This is the way of saying thank you and recognize their talent, their contribution to the community, and this is the better way to say thank you and encourage them to become more and more Tamil women, particularly South Asian women, to come out and do the good in the community.
So now, what is your message to women in power and also women who are growing up in today's generation in Toronto? What's your message to them growing up and what they should be doing moving forward?
Actually, it's education is the number one. Be part of the community, study hard, contribute to the community, and be a good citizen and do well in your life. And the Chamber of Commerce would help you to any way or shape or form if they need any help with rice.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now we have with us Renu and Sally from Business Development Bank of Canada. So it is a pleasure to have you guys here today. And as Ajit had mentioned to us, BDC does have a very tight relationship with CTCC. So I just wanted to ask you how you guys are involved with CTCC as a company and organization together.
So we got involved through one of our influencers, somebody who deals with BDC. So we got involved. We've been since last year attending majority of the events. Sally and I have been attending them, and so it's a good partnership because we're based out of Scarborough, our branch, and the Tamil Chamber is based in Scarborough. So it's a good community fit. We assist small and medium-sized businesses at BDC. So that's what the partnership is taken from the Tamil Chamber.
Now, I just want to ask you now, Sally, what do you think about this event that CTCC is taking the initiative to recognize women in Toronto and especially in amongst us Tamils? What do you think about it as a woman yourself in power?
Well, I definitely think it's been extremely empowering, extremely uplifting to hear the stories and the journeys of these women. It's definitely speaks to the fact that you truly can do whatever you want. It's just a matter of making sure that you have that goal in mind and that you go after it at the end of the day. So definitely a great event.
Thank you so much. So now we have with us Cheryl Pounder. She is a special guest tonight at CTCC's Women in Power. So first and foremost, I have to ask you, the medals you're holding, tell us a little bit about it.
So the Olympic gold medals from 2002 and 2006, so I played on our women's hockey team. And so sort of the journey to the gold medals, what I spoke about today, but that's the hardware from all the hard work. So very proud of them, but certainly a lot through the process, I learned a ton about it.
You know, it is amazing and inspiring to hear your speech. And just for our viewers, do you want to give us a little synopsis of your speech that you gave today at Women in Power?
Sure. So obviously being a Women in Power event coming out of a sport like women's hockey where it wasn't typical for a young female to play back when I was young, and sort of just walk them through the process and the journey of going through that and with my dream of one day competing for our country and walking into the opening ceremonies, and sort of the process, the hard work, the teamwork and collaboration that went along with that, and how women can stand up for one another and share information, help with one another, and really accomplish great things when they work together.
You know, it is amazing, and as a woman myself, I'm definitely inspired and motivated from hearing your speech. Thank you again for attending the show today. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheryl Pounder, just to tell you, the Women in Power today.
Yes.
I'm Sylvia Francis. I'm the interviewer in TT. And I felt completely empowered by the way you spoke.
Thank you.
If you have two important traits that you would say women need.
That's a tough one. There's so many, you know, when I think about it, you know, obviously I think that I was thinking more of a word like resiliency, but I think we need strength. You know, we have to have the strength, and strength goes with courage, to stand up and not be afraid to ask for what we want, to see our journey through and stay engaged in our passion. And so strength and courage for me are two really impactful words that I try and carry through with me in my journey and try and instill in my young children. And the other thing is, for me, I know it's it's one of those cliche words, but that belief. No one can teach you how to believe in yourself. You really have to find it within you. And for me, that's that certain something that women get, that fire. And when you have that belief, you can overcome anything because you believe in you.
Wow, that's two very, very special ingredients which has to come from yourself.
And yes, and I think the support that's around us is so huge and integral. I've come from a family that supported me and a husband, but now that I look at my two young girls, I want them to be confident in themselves, and I think that when you're confident in who you are and you're willing to stand on top of your story and not be afraid to share it, tell it, and own it. And I think as women, when we own who we are, it's very powerful, and that power and that engagement and that energy, I think, comes off of us, and other people feel it, and that's something that I think with women, when we can feed off of each other, it's very empowering.
Unbelievable. And you were chosen as a defense player.
Yes.
How did you, it just came, and how did you feel when you were chosen?
Well, I think I always say, it was surreal. I remember being told that I was going to play for Canada for the first time, and I think I kissed my jersey every single time I ever put it on throughout my career, because I always wanted to remind myself that it was also privilege. And I think that we get put in different positions in our life for a reason, and there's always challenges. And for me, when I got to put it on that first time, well, even the last time, it felt the same way. It was just that tingling, hair on end, dream come true moment, and there was a great honor that went along with it, because I wasn't just representing myself, but I was representing my community and my country.
Totally, and you are our pride, Cheryl Pounder, and a total role model for all the women out there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming to CTCC's Women in Power and empowering us.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Nandri Nerhale, thank you for joining with us on yet another TT on the Go. We covered CTCC's Women in Power event tonight, and it's definitely amazing for us to see CTCC take this initiative to recognize women in Toronto. Till next time, this is me signing off, Anushanti. Thank you.